Hi there, this is Chris Klein, Director of Butterfly Ridge Butterfly Conservation Center here in Southeast Ohio, speaking to you, excuse me, this time from my home. As you can see, I still have my cough, which actually started before Thanksgiving, so hopefully it will be going away soon. And I'll apologize in advance for coughing at you. No, since we just changed into 2020 here, I wanted to share a little bit about what our hopes and dreams are for Butterfly Ridge here in the coming year, and decided to do it from the comfort of my home in front of my wood stove because it's nice and toasty warm in here while it's still like 30 degrees outside or something. And so this will be a little bit different from the normal videos that I shoot. And if you've been to Butterfly Ridge and if you've been on one of our tours, you have heard a fair amount of what I'm going to share with you, but I know not all of you have, and so I wanted to kind of get everybody up to speed about what Butterfly Ridge is about. And as you know, a lot of organizations like ours, they have what they call a mission statement, which is basically a description of, you know, a nice, concise, small little sentence about what they do, what's their reason for existing. And here at Butterfly Ridge, our reason for existing is to create habitat for butterflies and other pollinators, and this is a very important and teach other people to do the same. Now, how we do that, okay, that's what we call our values here at Butterfly Ridge. And we do that by engaging with our visitors, engaging with the community, giving tours, showing people how we've done it, explaining the processes, the fact that we so strongly emphasize and rely on native plants. That's another one of those values that we have. And the fact that we think it's so important, and that the teaching others to do the same part of our mission is so important, that we started the Ohio Native Plant Seed Exchange on Facebook to kind of help get people started going that direction. Now, a part of our story that not everybody's familiar with, and sometimes it comes up on our tours, not always, is what we call our vision. Okay, and our vision is why we do what we do. Okay, our mission statement is what we do. Our values statement is how we do it. Our vision statement is why we do it. And I'm a little concerned. I'm afraid I might lose a few of you on this one because it's a little different, our vision statement. It's important for you to realize my wife and I, who co-own the business, we are very spiritual people. We are very faith-based people. And I'll be honest, to us, Butterfly Ridge is to borrow a phrase from Jake and Elwood Blues, Butterfly Ridge is a mission from God. Okay? To us, it's all Butterfly Ridge. The whole thing is about supporting life that we share our planet with. It's life that's bigger than us, okay? And in our view, life goes beyond being human. Life goes beyond being born, okay? And that the life that is out here flying around in the fields in our prairie in the summertime, that life is every bit as important as any other life, okay? And we want to do our part to try to help encourage that life, because unfortunately, as human beings, we have the intellect and we have the capability of screwing it all up. And so we want to do our part to try to bring everything back together. And once again, teach other people how to do the same. And so that's kind of our vision. And sometimes, when I start talking about faith and that sort of thing, sometimes I lose folks because they don't necessarily have the same faith position that I do. But I like to think that we're all fighting for the same thing. We might be on different teams, so to speak, but we're all in it for the same goal, for the same purpose. And so in 2020, what are we going to do at Butterfly Ridge to help achieve those goals, help to achieve those purposes? A lot of our habitat work in 2020 is actually just going kind of what I call habitat on creation on the edges. Okay, as you know, if you've visited us, we've got large chunks of prairie. We have nice big woodland openings, that sort of thing. And so now what we're going to start doing is kind of tinkering on the edges of all that, and take some of the areas that are still kind of untamed, so to speak, and full of multiflora rose and yummy stuff like that, and we're actually going to start working in those areas and kind of spreading the prairie out, just 1,000 square feet at a time instead of an acre and a half at a time. Another thing that's going to be very important to us this year is we want to find somebody who can help us to document all of our native bees and bee mimics that we have here at Butterfly Ridge. And I don't know how many of you know, if you go to iNaturalist, Butterfly Ridge is actually a project that you can log into on iNaturalist. Right now we got, of course, the butterflies covered pretty well. We're working on getting moths uploaded into their system. Got a long ways to go with plants, but even with all that said, we're still, last time I looked, which I think was yesterday or the day before, we still had 454 species documented from here at Butterfly Ridge, which I think is very cool considering we've only scratched the surface. But I have no, what I know about bees is some of them, make honey and sting me and it hurts, and that's about it. So I'm hoping that we can find some folks who are real knowledgeable about bees and bee mimics who can start identifying the different bees that we have here on our site. Another thing that we hope to do this year, some of you are probably familiar with the documentary called I, Mariposa, which was filmed down on the Mexico-U.S. border in South Texas, and it kind of showcases, it documents the relationship between that whole border culture and butterflies and the wall that's supposed to be going up along the border. Very good documentary, at least what I've heard and the chunks of it that I've seen. And so we're actually going to do a screening of that here at Butterfly Ridge. Don't have the date nailed down yet. Probably be in the neighborhood of late spring, early summer that we'll be doing that. So we're excited about that. We are hoping to have a lot more volunteer opportunities this year. And so, if you want to pull weeds, kill invasive species, create woodland openings, help seed these little prairie fragments on the edge, plus a really big project that we're going to be working on that I'm fighting very hard to wait until the end of our little talk here to share that. Lots of volunteer opportunities that we're going to have this year. We are also, and I don't know how many of you are aware, we give away scholarships here at Butterfly Ridge every year to a graduating senior at Bern Union High School. We give what we call our Community Action Scholarship, and that goes to a graduating senior who has demonstrated that they share the same commitment to volunteerism that we realize is so important. Okay, because once again, without volunteers, it's hard for us to function. We have the college interns who help tremendously, but a large volunteer pool can just take you to the next step, and so we like to reward kids who share that vision. We also give a scholarship, the Environmental Action Scholarship, to a graduating senior at Logan High School. And these are kids who have demonstrated an interest and a concern, a nurturing for the environment. And those are the kids that get those scholarships. Each once we give away $500 for each scholarship each year. We would like to grow that. And so far, this has just been a Chris and Chris thing, my wife and I. And we would like to kind of open it up to let other folks contribute as well. Right now, that scholarship basically only works for their freshman year. It can't be renewed. We would really like to be in a position where we could renew that scholarship for these kids who are doing good things. And so that'll be another opportunity that maybe you folks would like to participate in with us as well. We're going to be planning for a butterfly festival. We would like to host a butterfly festival here. Initially, we were thinking 2020. I'm not sure we're going to have our ducks in their various rows and sorted by color and size by then. But definitely 2021, so we're going to use 2020 as the planning phase for that. So once again, another volunteer opportunity to help us with that. And then the final thing I wanted to share regarding our outlook for 2020 is I'll introduce it with a little story. Back in the day, what year was it? Early 80s, okay. I did an internship at the Boyce Thompson Arboretum, which is about an hour outside of Phoenix. For those of you who may be familiar with Phoenix, in those days, the Superstition Freeway did not exist, okay. All those various Loop 202s and Loop 101s around Phoenix metro area, none of those existed. So for me to get to Boyce Thompson, now, because I grew up in Tempe, now it's an hour trip to Boyce Thompson. Then it was 2 to 2.5 hour trip to Boyce Thompson because you were having to do it all on surface streets before you actually got to the highway that drove you out through the desert. And the only reason I was really able to do that internship was because Boyce Thompson had housing available for me. Granted, they were kind of rundown shacks that I shared with rattlesnakes and scorpions and tarantulas and whatnot. Kind of freaked my mom out a little bit. But that's the whole reason why I was able to do internships there, was because they had that housing available. And that is something that ever since before Butterfly Ridge open to the public, that I've wanted us to have here, is a way that folks could, our interns would have a place to stay, researchers would have a place to stay the night. The folks that come and do our moth lighting and we turn off the lights at 12:30 or 1 in the morning, instead of those folks having to drive back to Lancaster or Columbus or Corning or wherever, they would have a place that they could crash for the night, get a little rest, and then head back for home in the morning. And so this year we are planning on building what we call a bunkhouse, and it will be of an earthship design. So in other words, it will be made out of very unconventional materials, where it's going to be earth bag construction, solar electricity, probably have propane as far as like stoves and that sort of thing, just because we don't want to have to go too crazy with the size of the solar array. But once again, trying to be very, very environmentally friendly with it, very sustainable. Gray water that the facility produces will go to water more habitat that we'll be planting around the facility. And so, like I said, we're kind of excited about that because it'll open up a whole new realm of possibilities as far as our interns go, and research opportunities that we have, and volunteer opportunities that we have. It'll kind of take us to the next level. And once again, that'll be another volunteer opportunity because, in all honesty, I do not plan on filling and pounding and laying 2,000 or 3,000 sandbags full of clay all by myself. Okay, I'm not sure my body can hold out for that. So we're going to need help with that as well. And once again, I mean, it'll be a very unique experience that I seriously doubt most of you have ever participated in. And so that's just some of the things that we have going for 2020. Once again, we would love to have you folks participating in as much of it as you possibly can. You can reach us, the contact information that's going to show at the end of this video. That's the best way to reach us. You can reach us through Facebook. We have an Instagram account that I'm not good about keeping up. That's usually an intern's job, and we don't have interns right now. But lots of ways to touch base with us if you want help with any of these projects. And so with that, I will bid you adieu, hoping that you have a nice warm toasty house like I've got, thanks to our wood stove back here. And we will talk to you later. Bye.